Good morning, friends. And I say good morning because it truly is morning time. It is just about 6:30, and I'm coming in now with my fresh morning look because I realized that I have a lot to say and a very busy day. And I knew that the day was going to get away from me if I didn't come in and do this now. I am going to keep my voice low because my kids are sleeping and my daughter has like mom radar. So as soon as she hears my voice, she's going to be like, Mom's awake, and she's going to come up. So I'm keeping my voice low. There is a lot that has been coming through, particularly since my Monday message. First of all, I've gotten a lot of feedback. So thank you if you've reached out to me, if you've subscribed. I super, super, super appreciate it. While I don't exactly know what it is I'm trying to create here, I know I'm trying to create a space of healing. And I'm just so grateful when you come to me and reflect that I have helped you. It just makes my heart sing. So this is why I'm showing up at 6:30 in the morning on a Wednesday, because I just know that we are in a place as a society that needs some healing. So I'm happy to be here and I'm delighted to receive your feedback. I have a lot to say. I almost came in and did a message yesterday because there was so much coming through for the collective uh, based on the reading from Monday. So, on that thread of energy that was opened up that we were exploring on Monday, I feel like where I'm going to pick up this morning is sort of where we left off or the next place in that thread of energy. But I also want you to know that there's a whole other thread that has presented itself to me that wants exploring. And that has come from, I have been doing a deep dive with the biblical story the Woman in the Well, which some of you know from John, some of you who are a little more in the divine feminine world, some of you know it from the Gospel of the Beloved Companion, which from Magdalene's perspective, and that is actually where I was diving into the story and comparing it to John. And so I've been there as well. And there's so much coming through there that feels so important in the time and space that we're in present time and space. Um, but I don't know that this collective is ready for Jewish and Christian and even Sufi mysticism. At least I don't. Maybe I shouldn't put it on you. Maybe I'll put it on me. I don't know that I'm ready to come clean in public with that part of myself yet. So we'll see. We'll see how that unfolds. And so, yeah, that is up and it's up around this same thread of energy. So we'll see how or if it wants to come through today or if I'll even have time to bring it through. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and just close my eyes here. Actually, I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. I am drinking black coffee today with a little sploosh of coconut oil, which has been my thing now for a couple of months, probably like 2 months now. And it just makes me happy, happier than cream or oat milk or whatever else I had been using. The coconut oil adds a little bit of sweetness to cut the acid, and it's just perfect. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close my eyes. And I'm going to share with you what came forward in meditation. It wasn't in meditation this morning. It is what I heard yesterday and nearly came through to discuss with you. And this is a very familiar adage for many of you already, but that which is for you will never pass you by. So I have said this in here before. I will say it, I'm sure, again, and I believe it in my bones. What is for you will not pass you by. So I just want you to sit with that for a moment because The energy that I feel in this collective, and I'll call myself out here as well. We can know that and we can hear it, but to embody it is a whole other ball of wax. It's to know it. That which is for me is not going to pass me by. Okay. All right. So what are we being invited into that knowingness? The energy that I feel is of this like grasping, this tight, like narrow. It's like we're in this box and we're trying to create something from this little box. We're trying to call something in. We're trying to like, no, it has to be like this. This is the way the story is supposed to go. This is the way I'm supposed to get the thing. This is the way my marriage is supposed to go. This is the way my job is supposed to work. This is the way. And it's this very narrow, and you can see my body like tightening because I'm feeling the energy of it. And it's really tight and it's really graspy, like this. It has to be like this, and my jaw wants to set. And if we can remember that that which is for us will not pass us by, it's an invitation to lighten the grasp, to release yourself from the box, and to just breathe space into the space between the present moment and that which you desire, because that's what it feels like. It feels like, and we're cultured into this. So please, if you're hearing yourself in this, please don't think that I'm trying to shame you or call you bad or wrong, because that's not the case. It's we are cultured into believing that which we desire is something outside of ourselves that we have to reach for. We have to like drive ourselves forward. There's this very forward motion. The image that I just saw was like the helm of a ship. Like we're going toward the thing that we want. And are we on course? And is it the right course? And again, like as we're thinking, are we on course? Is it the right course? I can feel the narrowing coming in. I can feel everything getting tighter. I can feel the, are we driving toward the right thing? And what we're being invited into is relaxing the course, coming back into body, coming back into the present moment, and trusting that we are being guided from within. Like we don't want to be going this way. We don't want to be leaning forward and driving. We actually want to be leaning back and opening and allowing, if you believe in this, the hands of the divine to sort of drive you forward, or not drive you forward, but just like gently hold you in the present moment as you take your next right step, as you have that next right conversation, as you contemplate your next move, to allow yourself, rather than leaning forward and driving, to allow yourself to just be, to relax, to be held, to trust, to surrender. And I know in our society, we hate that word surrender because it implies weakness or giving in, but I promise you, it is not weakness. It is your greatest strength to allow yourself to surrender to the present moment. And for some of you, you're going to want to take a big, deep breath here, because that is the best way I know how to get really present and get back into my body. So let's just do it. And from this place, rather than driving yourself forward, rather than barreling down a path, rather than believing that that which you desire is something outside of yourself, coming back into body and remembering that that which you desire is entirely inside of you. I feel like that is part of the energy that we've been sort of battling against here in the collective, particularly with the threat of energy from the other day and where we are right now. It's this belief that. And now I'm seeing like knobs and dials. Like we have to dial everything out here again, out here. We have to like create something out here to get ourselves on the right path. And again, we're just being invited to come back in here and trust that just by existing with our open hearts and our surrender, that we are actually being moved gently, not barreling forward. We are progressing from the present into the next right step, and the next right step, and the next right step. I drew some cards this morning for us, just because I was limited on time and I didn't have the luxury of, oh, I heard a cat, not a child. I didn't have the luxury of a lengthy meditation for us this morning. So I actually drew some cards, and it had me thinking as I was doing it that I want to get a different camera set up so that I can actually just show you if I'm drawing cards, or show you my altar and show you what it is that I'm doing. But the cards that I drew are so related. It felt like a continuation of the story that we started on Monday. And the first card that I drew was the Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles is like the biggest seed, right? It's like the image is, and you're going to hear it's trash day, so I apologize if that's being picked up on the microphone. You're the Ace of Pentacles. It's like the biggest seed. It's like the most abundant seed you could possibly plant. It's the very beginning. So on Monday we were at the 10 of Pentacles, and I said that we're always moving through, right? The 10 of Pentacles is the wealth, the abundance, the pinnacle. And when we've completed that cycle, we come back into the Ace of Pentacles, which is the seed that we are planting to create, to move through, to get to that next pinnacle of abundance and wealth and love and family and connection. So here we are today at the Ace, which just felt so potent and so like, thank you, Spirit, for bringing my message home. And again, it is the beginning of opportunity, right? It is presenting the opportunity is here for you to shift into your next timeline, for you to shift into your healing, for you to shift into your growth. Here it is. Here's the big, beautiful seed, but we have to plant it. It's not enough to just see that ace and go, oh, it's here. My seed of opportunity is here. We actually have to do something with it. Now, I always hesitate to tell my people, like, you need to do something, because I feel like we are really being invited into being and more listening and here and coming from here, and less taking action. And so I want you to hear that from me. I want you to hear that the doing something with this seed may or may not be actually taking some new action. It may be, and because the next card that I saw, that I pulled, was the Hanged Man, which is another potent sign of being, of waiting. Your action for this seed may not be to go out and do something. It feels like what we're being invited to do is to really plant that seed inside our hearts and to turn it over, to look at it, to come up underneath it, to come from above, to come at it from all angles, and to just sit with it and observe it and feel into it and be with it before you take your next aligned action. And the image of planting a seed, which is very much spring energy, which is not where we are, at least in this hemisphere, but where we are in actual time and space may not be where you are in your personal time and space. And so here we are, for me, it feels like we are planting a new seed. we like to, I am thinking, I'm seeing Frog and Toad, the garden. I don't know if you're familiar with that story, but Toad is he plants a garden, and every day he's like waiting for something to happen and waiting for something to happen, and he's getting mad. He's like, "Why are you not growing?" And of course, yelling at a plant, yelling at anyone is never going to lead to growth or expansion. It is the seed is planted, and now we are observing it from all angles. We are holding it in love. Frog tells Toad that he should sing to his plants. He should write poetry to his plants, and he should be patient. And that's what this hanged man is telling me. It's like that seed is not going to sprout just because you planted it and you want it to sprout. And in fact, the wanting it to sprout, there's that boat image again, the driving forward. I want this to sprout. I want it to sprout like this, and I want it to be carrots. And it's like, nope. We're planting a seed. We don't exactly know what it is. And we're being invited to lovingly trust that what is meant to grow is going to grow. And we're meant to observe. We're meant to write it poetry and sing to it and love it in our hearts and wait. And the waiting, now I'm hearing Tom Petty, the waiting is the hardest part. The waiting is the hardest part. If you are anything like me, I have all the patience in the world until I don't. And when I want something, especially when there's a strong desire for something, it's like, I know what I want it now, and I want it to look like this. And so if you hear yourself in that, we are all being invited into, I want something, whatever it is. If it's a job, if it's new love, if it's healing in your current relationship, if it's, school, the right school for your child. I feel like there is some waiting energy in here, and we are knowing what we want. We're being invited to trust that that which is for us will not pass us by. So if you think you are planting beets and what sprouts is cauliflower, it is because cauliflower is what is for us. If you want your child to go to this specific school, I feel like I'm picking that up from someone somewhere. If you're waiting to hear if your child gets into a specific school or a specific teacher, and that doesn't happen, trust that the teacher that your child does get is what is for your child. And it may also mean, I'm hearing this too, like it may also mean that you're being invited to stand up in a new way. It doesn't mean you need to acquiesce to the wrong thing. So okay, this is coming through and this feels important. It doesn't mean that if you get cauliflower and you wanted beets, if you got Mrs. Smith and you wanted Mrs. Jones, it doesn't mean that you need to be satisfied with cauliflower or Mrs. Jones. It just means you're being invited into your next right step so that you can grow. So maybe you need to grow in advocacy, or maybe you need to learn how to discern seeds from one to the next. But it doesn't mean that we need to settle. So I think settling is the word that I want. It doesn't mean that you need to settle for less than what you desire or what you deserve. It just means you're being invited into the next right step. And right now, the next right step feels like turning things over, looking at things from a new perspective, looking for the places that really want and desire and deserve your healing and your loving attention, and really getting comfortable with the idea that if something is for you, it's coming, even if it's not coming in the timeline that you desire, even if it's not coming in the job that you want or the lover that you want, and even if it's not coming exactly the way you want it to come, that which is for you will never pass you by. The next card that I drew was the Lovers. Lovers is Gemini energy. It is the energy of course, partnership, and that doesn't necessarily mean love partnership. It doesn't necessarily mean your beloved companion coming through. It can also mean work partnerships, like you coming into connectivity with your right job. It can be a match, but it's also the original in the original tarot decks in the world, the lovers was not the lovers, it was the choice. And so what's coming into being after the waiting and after the looking and after the examination is either you've done the work and so you're going to be matched with the job, with the teacher, with the partner that is coming through, or it means you have a choice to make. And I know some of you don't want to hear that. I know some of you would much prefer to hear that, oh, I've looked at this from all options. This is the option. This is the angle. This is my person. This is my job. This is my thing. Some of you don't want to hear that, what that watching and waiting and looking and loving will bring is a choice. But I want you to know that you did the work to recognize that you are actually the one who's in choice. And this feels really important because I think sometimes we think like we don't have a choice. Like, this is just happening to me. Why is this happening to me? This is just happening to me. Why am I not getting this job? Why doesn't he love me? Why doesn't she love me? Why? And that perspective, that turning things around, that looking from different angles, sometimes brings us to the place of choice, of recognizing that we get to choose. Is this the job for me? Is this the lover for me? Is this the school for my kid? I actually get to be in choice, and I'm not a victim. I am not at the mercy of someone else or the mercy of the divine or the mercy of, I mean, we are at the mercy of our own free will and the trust in our hearts that we feel for what's possible for us. And what I'm desiring for us as a collective is that in that turning things in all angles, in that examining, in that loving up on whatever it is, whatever is in whatever that seed holds, that you recognize that if you are not presented with the match and you are presented with a choice, that that is actually a really beautiful, empowered place to be. The overall energy, which for me, the way I read cards is the card at the bottom of the deck after I've shuffled was the Ten of Wands, which I also feel like has come through either an imagery or an actual card draw for us before. And that is the card of burdened, of feeling burdened. Um, it's funny, to my ear, the first time I said it, it sounded like burned, and wands are fire energy. And so some of you feel like you are either being burned by society, burned by a lover, burned by your work, burned out. So I feel like that I wanted to bring that forward because that feels like whether it's burned or burdened, it's kind of the same thing. It's wands or fire energy. So some of you are experiencing burnout. Some of you are burned out where you are with these choices that you're trying to make, with the decision that you're trying to make. And that's why this message is coming through. But the invitation here is, rather than continuing with that burden on your back, rather than continuing to be in the burnout, you're being invited to either drop one wand and go back to the nine, which is sort of that wounded warrior energy, but it's like you're still a warrior, there's still fight in you, to go back to the eights, which is where we were on Monday, where I said communication, coming together and communicating, talking with your boss, talking with your lover, talking with your ex, talking with your partner, talking with the school, talking with whomever you need to talk, communicating. So dropping two wands and coming back to communication, or trusting that here you are at burnout, here you are at the pinnacle of your burden, and the only place that you want to go is forward into that ace. So on Monday, we were at the 10 of Pentacles, and I said, we are going to get to the 10 of Pentacles again, but tarot is evolution. It's not static, it's always moving. And so we got to the ace today, we got to this new seed. And so we're being invited into the same thing with these wands. We're being invited into either like going up in a big conflagration and getting to that ace of wands, which is the new beginning of passion, of inspiration. For some of you, it's work. For some of you, it's like physical passion. For some of you, it's passion about your work or passion about your partner. It's enterprise. It can be work related. It can also be intimacy and love related. Just depends upon how this reading is landing, this message is landing for you. But we're being invited to either go forward, like let it all go up in smoke and go forward into a new beginning, or to back it up, back it up to that place of communication so that you can move forward into that ace of wands and you can just move quickly through the wounded warrior. Here goes my throat chakra again. Oh my God, you guys, somebody has something to say and can't say it. That like every time I feel this in a message, whether I'm here or with a client, I'm like, oh, there is someone here who has something very important that it's some truth that needs to be told and they can't do it. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. Wow. Whew. That's intense, which means it's probably intense for the person or people who need to do the communicating. Mm. And so I'm just going to beam you a little bit of love. And I'm going to just bring a little bit of love into my throat as well so I can finish this message. Yeah, I'm just hearing what you have to say is so important. And it's actually going to set you and the other person free. You believe that it's going to hurt the other person. You believe that your words, your truth are going to wound the other person, the other people beyond repair. And what I'm feeling, what I'm seeing is your words, though they may be painful to receive for the receiver. They will ultimately be a bomb. Here I go again. This is crazy. They will ultimately be a balm. They will set you both free, set you all free. So if you're leaving a job, if you're leaving a lover, if you're telling a partner that they need to like rise up, like for some of you, it feels like an ultimatum that is going to be given. It's and not an ultimatum from like you better, but an ultimatum like this is what I need. I need you to show up this way. And if you can't, there's nothing left here. So ultimatums. Ultimatums are not always this. Sometimes, and what we're being invited into is this. Like, this is my truth. And unless you can meet me here, we can't do this. I can't work for you. I can't be with you. And here goes my voice again. Ah, it's crazy. All right. I'm just going to be quiet for a minute and see if there's anything else that wants to come through here for this message. No, there's nothing specific, but I'm just being told to just really beam universal love out into our whole collective. I can feel what we're all up against. I can feel the wobbles. I can feel the quakes. I can also feel the power that's there, but I can feel the quaking that comes with acting and being in your power. And so if you can just imagine, I'm bringing universal love up and through your root chakra, all the way up into your second chakra, into Yasod, into your pelvic bowl, bringing it up into your belly, into your solar plexus. Today I'm experiencing it as pink and gold glitter. It's kind of sweet, just bringing it through, bringing it up into your heart. And I just heard I don't deserve this here, and you do. We all do. And I'm also being told to remind you that this is not my love that I'm bringing you. I'm bringing you universal love. I'm not giving you my energy. I'm just bringing universal love up into that throat chakra so you can speak your truth. Bringing it up into the third eye. And all the way into your crown, and allow it to be so abundant that you can feel it coming up through your crown. You can see it spilling in all directions like this beautiful fountain of universal love. It's going to come back down beneath you, below you. And it's going to come up and through again. So allow this universal love to just circulate through your system today, or whenever you're receiving this message. Allow this love to move through your energetic field, through your toroidal field. And just imagine it coming up and out, taking from you anything that is no longer serving you, taking from you anything that isn't in service to this new seed that wants to be planted for you to get to your 10 of Pentacles, for you to get to the height of this new wealth of abundance, money, of love, of joy. Just allow this love to move through you, to give you courage to speak your truth, to give you courage to look at this seed in new ways, to look at what you want to plant from all angles, to give you patience, the patience you need to wait for what you truly deserve. Allow this love to move through your system today. I'm going to open my eyes and say thank you so much for being here with me. If you resonated with this reading, I would love it if you would let me know in the comments below. I know I'm talking about sensitive things and people don't always want to out themselves that they're listening, that they're following. So if that's true for you, I get it. Come find me in whatever way you can. Let me know that you're resonating. If you can like, if you can share, if you can subscribe, if you can tell your friends that I'm doing this. Again, I don't know where this is going to. I just know that I'm being called to show up here for all of you. And we'll see where it goes. Happy Wednesday. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.